Hey everyone, this is quite a long video of myself going through a game from Australian regionals. The team Outbreak Mountain have been playing Hex all season long, and they played it at regionals. The game was filmed and they were interested in getting my feedback on the game afterwards. So I set up my computer to do a live stream of myself going through the game and analysing it. It's quite interesting for anybody who wants to see Hex offense being played by a team. One that hasn't been coached by myself personally, and particularly interesting if you want to see my outlook and my perspective on this team playing Hex, because I give them lots of different advice about what you should and what you shouldn't do, best practices when playing Hex, what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong, what they can improve on, all this kind of stuff. It's quite a long video, but if you're interested in Hex, then it should be quite an interesting one to check out. Hope you enjoy it. So what I've been doing is going through, chopping out the offense. Mike got in touch with me. Mike was, one of the video producer guys, Mike Palmer, I'm sure you know him. And yeah, he got in touch saying, hey, they're playing Hex via text whilst you're in the middle of the game. And it was being live streamed. And then I didn't have time to look at it at the time, but then I went back and checked it and I was like, is that Hex? Is that Hex? And then when you have your static setups and you're like making the perfect Hex shape, and I'm like, oh yeah, it is. And then Mike told me that you're a local team to him as well, so he knows. Okay, let's check back in here. So I'm just cutting out like the downtime. There's the call and stuff. Cut that out. How's the stream? Is it working for everyone? Is it looking all right? I think there's about like 10 seconds delay, I think, between when I say stuff and when it comes up on the stream. So if I take a little while to respond to your chat, like it's just 10 seconds. Cool, we got 10 people watching. All right, sweet. What time is it? What time is it over there, guys? Okay, just looking at the offense here. Boom, 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 boom. Oh yeah, I remember this. This guy here. Can you see my mouse? Yeah. This guy here. He runs through the narrow channel. So after this point here, all right. This is good shape here. Okay, and yeah, attack this corner. But then when it carries on, after that's not on. And it could be a legs thing here, but at this point where he's got to make the decision which way he goes. If he goes this way, then whenever he's over here, he's surrounding the disc, because everyone else is the other side. So that brings the defender right around here, and it cuts off a high percentage of like angles. And if you surround the disc like that, you got to be sure that you're going to get it like here. If he gets it here, it's okay. You've still got the connection to this player over here. The shape's okay. But as it is, the commentator even comments on it. As it is, he's still an option over here, but the defender's done something in here. Yeah, the defender feels that he's got a lot of power here, and so he started to do something. Poaching.
Now, Tonkin to the far side of the field. There's a lot of outbreak play.
Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna just chop it out. I'll just go through it quickly. This is like a test. So you guys can hear me okay? It's 9:45 at your time. That's cool. It's 11:15 in the morning over here. I've actually got my mum's Australian, so I've got Australian nationality. Dual nationality, because I came over to Perth in 2006 and I couldn't get a visa because I was a citizen, so I had to get a passport, Australian passport. All right, so here we go. There's a turnover. So start from here. Delete this bit here. Okay. So that's just a simple drop, isn't it? What does the shape look like?
Warren White's going to receive it now. Eichner.
Yeah, bit flat at the back, maybe, but yeah. So this player here doesn't need to carry on running. This player can maintain the angle here, and then he's more connected about down here. Yeah, so that he could be over here quite easily, and then this throw would then be easier in theory. And it's actually his man that poaches off over here that then contributes to the turn. So yeah, I think just this guy needs to like stop here. Yeah, and then that's all good shape wise. Yeah, good about the movement. You can talk about that surrounding the disc. Yeah, I call it like the narrow channel. If someone runs like between the disc and the line, yeah, then that's like them going down the narrow channel, and that's always is going to lead to surrounding the disc. Quite often if you throw forwards and they catch a huck, and then you're running up behind you, you're like, oh, which side do I go? Pick the wide channel. Always go down the wide channel. Okay. So both your D-line and your O-line play it? Yeah, or do you have D-line and O-line divisions on the team? Yeah, nice shape. This is the zone. This is when the zone starts. Oof, that was unexpected. I love the release in the inside of the force like that. Get loads of inside out on it. I was going to say like the flow kind of stopped here, even though there was an open pass. Yeah, this is the open pass.
Hot chili. Pilar Rogers is going to jack it, and he's going to back in.
The coverage was
but
pretty
the disc
tight there.
is sailing. It's going sideways. Casa.
Yeah, it's difficult to get the inside out that you need on that throw. But there's not a huge amount of separation there. But that's cool. You gotta test the zone, you know, early on. So D-line played Hex on slow turns and Vert on quick turns. Yeah, interesting. I've been thinking about quick turns the last couple of days actually. And I think maybe like whoever's closest to the disc attacks. Okay, they either pick up the disc and throw it, or they run over the disc and cut in the end zone. And then the next person goes to the disc. The next closest person to the turnover goes to the disc, and then they pick it up and throw it to the guy that is then cut deep. But they don't have to pick it up as well. If that throw's not on, they can run over, and everyone else runs into hex positions, because if you're able to pick up the disc and pass to someone that's in a sweet hex position and everyone else is set up in hex, then it can just be like bam, 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 suddenly you're flowing. And I can imagine that would be really hard for the defense to to transition that quick. If you practice that transition, you can practice it by having 14 people randomly on the field, like there's just been a turn, and then the coach like throws the disc to a random point on the field and says go, and then you run your transition. Yeah, so I guess the coach has to define who is on D and who's on O, and which end zone they're shooting in, and then defense has to communicate, try and like set up, however, like find their people or whatever, stop the big threats, and offense has to set the shape as quick as they can. So that's something I do with the uni team I coach, is I throw the disc to a random place and get them to set up the hexagon, and then I count from the sideline to see whether they can do it like in less and less time. Something to teach them about, knowing the shape. But yeah, that could be a good transition. I'm a big fan of the fast break. Okay, so was that the first point they threw the zone? It could have been the first point they threw the zone. D-line played Hex on slow turns and Vert on quick turns. Yeah, I guess the benefit of Vert on quick turn is the free up loads of space. But it feels like it's if you're spread out over the field, it's less efficient to get into a Vert than it is to just manipulate into the Hex positions. Okay, here's the next point.
So here's the pull. Blading pull. Roden is going to juggle it. Pass it to Warren White immediately and then get a bit of movement going.
That's nice shape. He moved it right the way to the sideline again, and then a tricky throw comes.
Going to throw a very silly one.
So yeah, like they let you move to the sideline. That's what they're giving you. But it's not necessarily. Isn't necessarily what you want to take. You're supposed to take the open pass, right? So that's what you're doing. You're taking the open pass. Boom, 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 boom. But you know now this is kind of what the defense want you, where the defense want you to be. And then you know that it's just a lower percentage throw. I mean it should be quite a high percentage if you know. But something I was saying to Jonathan was that maybe when you train Hex you don't throw as many overheads. You don't practice throwing like the longer throws that are more bladey. I don't know. You do get a variety, but maybe there's a difference in the way that you train that that zone tends to become a problem, because that happened with the GB under-23 team. Is that Germany played zone against us, and we weren't able to score. We weren't able to hit the overheads as consistently as we needed to. But it could be something about surrounding the disc, or even this is you're taking the open pass and everything, but it's going to the side. So maybe it's beneficial to try and stay in the middle channel, possibly. I don't know. We'll see. So, hang on, they first zone look, and then they put in the next 3 or 4. Okay. So there's a few times in a row.
Around the disc. Eichner is going to go in the middle of the
They
field.
switched to
Warren
man.
White has Pilar Rogers in space here on the near sideline. That's Lace. And they're going to transition out of their zone to man. We heard the calls rather earlier down the field.
Are you guys getting the audio as well? You think against zone, we want to keep the disc middle a little bit more. I actually like the idea of bringing more players into the back spots and attacking through short bursts. Yeah, basically if you can initiate flow and then sustain flow, then it puts you in a really good position. And it's really hard for a zone to like feel comfortable. I know when I'm playing zone, it's when the disc stops, then I'm like taking what's going on the field and then try and like apply the pressure, from that position. But if the disc's always moving, I'm always like, well, where are these people going? When's flow going to stop? So if you surround the disc, then and the defense don't surround the disc, then you can get flow very, very quickly. So yeah, those short bursts of attack, yeah, it could be very good. So something we trained as well is being able to play in a more casual way, so you're not running as much all the time. But then when you choose to attack, then you start like going full out. I've done this at training by having everyone play keep disc, so they're just passing it around, and then suddenly I'll blow a whistle to say that they're attacking one end zone, and then they change the pace, and then they go into attack mode. That's something that I think could be really powerful. Like using time. Everyone knows about using space on the ultimate field and stuff, and there's some things about the stall count. The early stall look here, late stall look there, in conventional ultimate, but not about the actual the dynamic changing of the pace of the offense. So you're not actually just looking to score the whole time. Sometimes you're looking to pass it around, tire out the defense possibly, or just wait till they make a mistake, and then when that mistake happens, when the right time comes, or when you start getting flow, then suddenly into attack mode. I've been on the sideline shouting attack at tournaments before, and it works really, really well. It works well. Everyone's on the same page and they know right now's our time. You can put in your full energy for the next 10 seconds. Quite often then it's a score, and the defense can't adjust in the same way. They're probably playing intense D the whole time, and then when our pace changes, it's like, well, how many gears have they got?
Zone to man. We heard the calls rather earlier down the field. Roden is still unmarked.
Do you guys know what SoCo is? Have you looked into SoCo at all?
And Outbreak all of a sudden hit a brick wall again. We saw this earlier in the game. Nice break throw there. Eichner. Looks like there's a pick call.
Just edit this bit out.
Right there. Stop the front of the stack.
Okay, you don't know SoCo. I like the not moving so much at times. Yeah, we had a lot of guys running when they did not need to. And Gets tiring, you know, it gets tiring. Okay, so SoCo is short for Southern Comfort, right? And it's the idea that from this point on the field, yeah, where you're around the brick mark, this guy here can like throw into the end zone, like fairly easily, you know. So it's a big threat. All the defenders have got to be worried about their players going and scoring, okay? And when they've got that threat and that concern, then it's much easier for players to get free coming under, right? So you can initiate flow like that, going towards the end zone, or you can score in one big pass. You know, if they do stop you flowing, probably your chances of scoring with one big pass are higher. But there's hardly any turnovers when someone's at a comfortable distance from the end zone like this. Yeah. It's harder for the defense, so it's hardly any turns from there. So then when you work the disc up and you're right near the end zone, now you don't have that long throw anymore. Yeah, so the defense can play tighter on the unders and stop you from flowing. Yeah, and there's not as much space. You know, there's not all this space over here that's no longer available to you. So when flow stops, because quite often you can flow towards the end zone and score in flow, and that's great. But when flow stops, like here, I think, then why not move the disc backwards towards your brick mark? Okay, if you're able to move the disc without turning over quite, you know, very high percentage-wise, then move it back towards your brick mark. So then you open up the option for a long throw, but you also open up if the defenders stop the long throw, then you open up the ability to initiate flow very easily. You're very unlikely to turn over from back at your brick mark compared to being here. There's a lot of turnovers that happen. If you watch Ultimate and watch them flow up to the end zone, and then when flow stops, then like it's almost like 50-50 whether it's a score or a turnover. The statistics get mad. But yeah, SoCo is the idea of flowing away. Not sure of SoCo. SoCo, so it's like SoCo. It stands for Southern Comfort. Where it's basically like get a comfortable distance away from the end zone. But it's kind of experimental. I've had it work really well a couple of times, but more times I've had it fail because of random turnovers when you're trying to get the disc back. Like when you're just trying to flow back towards your brick mark. Like unpressured throws, basically. For some reason would just turn over.
Travel.
Maybe it's because it's a weird situation.
He's going to reset this. The poach comes.
Yeah, it was a good poach.
Travel. Doesn't get called.
Yeah, he kind of leads his defender in there. He's setting up a cut to the hex positions, whereas you should be just kind of be occupying the hex positions at that point. Yeah, like right here he's in the wing position, but there's a first back missing and a second back missing. Yeah, so he's in like the forward position. He's in hat, but then we've got an extra forward and an extra guy on the line here. So there's an over concentration towards the end zone. It's a great idea. Hard to do though. Is it quite counterintuitive? Yeah, so counterintuitive. So counterintuitive. Quite fun to practice. You know, doing keep disc and then giving people like a target. You know. Also tried to do it once where I'd just wait until flow started and then I'd blow the whistle, and that meant that they could then attack. Yeah, keep disc is great practice for SoCo. I did it in South Africa once where you start with the disc outside the end zone, and if you don't score in the first pass, then you have to go right the way back to the brick mark. I think I called it red zone. Can you imagine what a nightmare it is for defenders though? Like if you're marking someone in with the disc just outside the end zone, and then the disc gets dumped way back, and you have to chase them all the way back. And then you're aware of the deep shot as well. If they run towards the disc under, then you can't commit 100% to stopping that, because if they stop and then go back to the end zone, suddenly there's a long throw, which wasn't even a thing a few seconds previously. Oh yeah.
Pilar Rogers pony. Nobody reads it. Pony.
Yeah, no.
Sit. Ogden. Pilar Rogers pony. Nobody reads it. Pony. as
It's unfortunate. Unfortunate. You got the bodies underneath it. It dropped a little bit quicker than you thought.
Gives the Outbreak defender a chance to make a play.
Oh, and he misreads it. He gets two underneath it. And you try and catch it as well. Looks like both of you guys try and catch it. Oh, is that an injury as well? Yeah, this guy lands pretty hard on his heel. Yeah, straight leg landing. Ouch. Yeah, if he was able to like land and then go get it afterwards, but yeah, unfortunate. Anyway. Okay, offense. Yeah, that's SoCo, that's how you spell it.
Counts. Sean Davis goes with two hands, nice and safe. Davis getting low, catching that pass, goes through the cup to Baddix. Andy Baddix to Tonkin. Tonkin pumps the pass to Baddix.
So he's back on the line, flow stopped. He's got open passes behind. Like, maybe don't, as soon as that's not on, don't let these defenders set. As soon as he's faked that, now like go across here. Yeah, that's probably what he's opened up from the fake. That's how he can cash in. Yeah, so he's got this defender to move, so he should be like, right, how do I punish that defender's movement? And it's inside out flick over there. And now it's this guy. But yeah, he's got Endzone eyes. Bad case of Endzone eyes. This pivoting should be it should be achieving more with the pivoting, and also as a double team obviously. But yeah, if the pivot makes that defender back away there, then you've got to try and cash in on that. Oh,
very loose. You see the unfield cup that
good accurate throw at the end.
Is actually sitting off a little bit. And there's the transition. We've seen a lot of these transitionary zones from Hot Chili this game, especially in the second half here. Hammer, it's going to blade over, and Helix.
Nice.
A lot of these transitionary zones from Hot Chili this game.
Yeah, that's really good cutting. If you watch his cutting, like the timing of it. Boom, there's the space. And then he changes again when he realises that's not on. Maybe this guy should fake that flick. Get that defender fully committing, but it doesn't need to.
Hammer, it's going to blade over.
Lovely.
I mean, that is one way to rip it.
And what happened in terms of hex spacing and stuff? Yeah, the flow across the other side. See, at this point, it's the classic, like, too many people have gone downfield and there should be like a second back and a hat here and a wing here. But it works out. Yeah, if there are more people here, then maybe the flow could continue. But it's okay because they're all pretty close to the disc. They're all pretty shallow, which means that this guy's just got a ridiculous amount of space. One way of being more efficient is if the opponents do man-to-man, if they do one-to-one marking, then you can manipulate them by moving. You can get them all crowded. Yeah, you can move over to one side or whatever and keep them all on you. They're not going to like go out into the space and poach. And if you're able to do that, then you just keep them out of the way, and then a one-on-one matchup is, you can just be like an easy one-throw score. Yeah, have you guys heard of flex defense at all? Like switching and sandwiching. This is our D line, so I'm not sure if they're meant to be playing Hex. I just found it hard to transition out of the zone. Okay. Yeah, I mean they got good spacing and stuff. Like especially like now, you got the back and the hat. Still a bit of second back missing, but yeah, it's all good. And it's zone O, right? Yeah. So okay, yeah. So the other team playing kind of zone, and then they transition here to man. Okay. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, Felix is kind of one of the thing that a lot of it interests more Ultimate players than Hex, because a lot of people don't see why Hex should exist, like what the point is. Like, offense isn't broken, they score most of their offense points, so they don't see the need for it at all. And also, it's very hard to, like, if you introduce a new offense, the chances are that, well, it's like being a goalkeeper in well, no, it's like taking the shot when you're in a penalty shootout in soccer. So the offense is expected to score. So every turnover then is attributed to the new offense. But every score is like, well, yeah, we always score. You know? Whereas introducing a new defense, then if you get a turn, then suddenly it's the defense done something good. Whereas if the other team score, it's just like, oh yeah, they normally do, we had a chance. You know? So there's a lot more false positives in your favour when you introduce a new defense. Oops. Okay. Alright, one's been on this one. Caught the pull. Another deep shot. Oh, he's talking about Hex.
To really work hard, and it's been fits and starts for Outbreak when they've had possession of the disc. See the octagon.
No.
Ogden's going to hug it. Tonkin. Pony. Pony's going to reach so close to getting a layout D on the under there. Less of a layout, more of a rolling collapse.
Yeah, what kind of zone is this? Like the double team zone?
More of a rolling.
It's pretty close. Okay. So they just got one guy like insanely on the inside out here, and then two people in the cup, and then looks like a wing. 29's a wing. Is that the deep guy? Maybe. Maybe there's two deeps. Okay, how does the offense move? Let's go. Oh yeah, you heard the beeping. Okay.
More of a rolling collapse. But we're not going to begrudge a man for getting after it. Nice around throw. Pilar Rogers in a good spot. He's going to huck it to Eichner. It's low. Eichner makes it.
Ended up right on the side again with the cup around. Yeah, this is very much like the position that the defense want you to be in. But there's enough separation for that. Yeah, the throw just needs to be, you know, a bit flatter and over here. Obviously, easy to say, but yeah, the separation's fair for that. So that's not a bad decision. Not facing infield. Yeah, I always like to face like towards the middle of the space here. And makes these guys more powerful. And you can still kind of see, even if you're facing infield, you can still kind of like see deep as well. But it's just a minor point. I wonder if that's called up. Debated. Okay, let's cut there. Let's have a look at the replay. Do I think it's up?
Get a replay.
No, that's going to move, surely. Yeah, that's moving. You can't call that up. He's pinching it between his arms, and then the disc is moving when it hits the floor. I don't know, I can count as control.
Maybe. I wonder if he had it under control. I wonder if he had it under control. That's the question, isn't it? Hands as he went to the ground. We get a replay.
If you guys have got any questions or like thoughts and stuff, like I'd quite like, you know, just like get chatting get chatting to each other, get chatting and asking me questions. Like, I think that could be a very productive thing. I don't know how much longer I'm going to spend here. So just like, you know, now's a good time. Just talk about things that have been on your mind that you thought about Hex offense and stuff, and ask questions or whatever. Yeah, there's not much space here. What my uni team actually do is go into vertical stack towards the end zone, and then we isolate, or we have like 2 people then basically give go to then try and score in the front corners. And then if one of them makes a cut that they can't pull back from, then the front of the stack comes out, and then these 2 people then will work with it, the new 2 people. But like there is space. Like that's possible to hit that one. Flow stopped. Oh. Yeah.
He's got it in front of him.
It's also hard not to surround the disc as well. Like
the end zone's right.
Everyone has to be in the end zone for this guy. Like if you're not going to surround the disc, you know, you need 6 people in this case.
Does he try?
So yeah, get surrounded here, does he? Because we got this player in the yellow shoes goes off this way. So if anyone goes into this area, then it's technically that's surrounding, and yeah, you got boom second back here. No, yeah, they're doing as well as you can not to surround. But yeah, this guy chooses this moment to poach off, because you can't. If these guys come behind, then the hat has to be like here, and then you got the wing here and the 2 forwards. That could be good actually. That's something I've thought about. When you get up near to the end zone, have a compacted hex which is like on the side. Yeah, so the disc is almost always with like a wing. Yeah. And yeah, if you set it up like here, yeah, then this is a big threat, yeah, for scoring, and then this is easy for like a reset. You know, it's a lot more space on the field. But then, you know, why are you even in a hex if your aim is to create a big amount of space on the field? Oh, don't know yet. But it could generate a lot of good things, really. Like, I suppose you got players you got the forwards that are closer to this space, you know, and the hat that's like, I don't know, if the defense like spread out or whatever, then the hat can just get a quick one. The hat, yeah. And then this guy here can, you know, go into this space very easily. So yeah, it makes sense to kind of spread out. I guess the guys at the back might get poached off. But then, if they poach, then it gives us something we can punish. Just have to learn how to punish poaching. Got caught a few times from dead disc sidelines. When we pick it up, but then Dumps found it hard to create space. Yeah, reversing the field in your head is an interesting kind of exercise. So when someone has a disc on the sideline, if you look towards the end zone where you got your forwards, as soon as your forward is like 3 deep, then you kind of know that you can throw that and what you're going to throw. And if the defender stands in between you and them, then it's like pretty easy to just throw it down the line for a score, right? But then when you turn and look at your dump, right, the back player, then you don't want to take that shot. Like that shot seems impossible all of a sudden. If they cut hard away from you, yeah, like down the sideline behind you, then like that's because of the way we perceive the field, you know, with the attacking side and the backfield, then that throw just seems like something that we don't want to do or we can't do. So I see a lot of people kind of fail to make that throw or like throw it really weirdly, and it's like, look, imagine if I was cutting to the end zone, you know, not just cutting to like the backfield space. Imagine if that was the end zone, that'd be an easy score, you know, so it should be an easy dump. Dead discs, we have dead discs near our end zone in the middle of the field. We set up with the hat, with the disc, and it's quite effective at creating dangerous options. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, yeah, okay. So picking up the disc on the line and having wings either side and backs and forwards. Um, we did used to do that, like the first time that we played Hex for the first year or two, and we got to the semi-finals, played against Clapham, and set that up. Like we had a timeout just outside the end zone. But the problem we had was that the wings then like they shuffled forwards a bit because it felt like that would mean they could make more space themselves to cut into when they got looked at. So the wings kind of pushed forward, and that kind of meant the backs were then like kind of stretched, and everyone kind of got disconnected. And then when the first options weren't on and he turned around, then he was like surrounded and found it hard to find a pass. So that's where kind of don't surround the disc kind of came from. You know, is recognising when people are surrounded, then it's difficult to get a pass off if people are marked one-to-one very well. So that's why I've shied away from ever having the disc with the hat. But Frank Huguenard's offense, which is a similar shape, he has the disc in the middle all the time, and that guy kind of bounces off the people around the outside. I don't think that's as lends itself well to having flow, which isn't just back and forth through one person though. If you've got the six in front of you, then you throw to one guy, and then he's got a whole other layer of players behind him, basically. Whereas if you're in the middle and you throw to one guy, then he's only got to throw back to you or back to you and to the sides. Does that make sense? Yeah, but if you're scoring straight away from having the just surrounded, then great. You know, maybe we just did it wrong. It was the first time. There's probably video of that. No, there is video of that somewhere. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to look through some old archives and upload more videos of Brighton playing Hex in the early days. We learnt a lot. We learnt a lot through the years. Oh, that's game. Okay. So. Oh, that was the last turn. Sad. Alright. I can look through it a bit from the beginning. I've got to eat something in a little while.
It's going to sit nicely as well. Warren White underneath it. Roden come near side to Ogden. Receiver streaming deep. Likes to go under. That's Foley with the disc now. He bounces off the mark. Warren White elects not to go down the line. Lots of movement down the line. That's Whiten. Goes into space to Eichner, and that...
So someone noticed this player here, in fact with the disc being this close to the sideline, then right now this player is in the perfect first back position. This guy's really close to being the perfect second back. But none of these three are thinking about coming back to the hat. And if they were thinking about coming to the hat, then they could also come to the first back position. But that's not happening. And so this guy clears downfield. This guy appears, sure, but he's a little bit disconnected. You know, now that this guy's now in the hat position, it leaves the first back. Yeah, and we got this guy closest to that position. But then these four over here, very like the opposite side of the Hex to the first back. So this guy's kind of abandoned the position, maybe a little bit prematurely. However, it works out because then the disc moves, and that the disc moving now like validates all the positions over here. You know, now you've got like first back is just going to be here, second back can be there. We got the hat, and we got a forward. So you're in a nice position for the new disc. But it was kind of like if that disc didn't go, yeah, if that was marked out, and then he's looking back across here, then suddenly we're over concentrated downfield. And then the same thing happens here. So yeah, you got hat forward, like other forward wing or whatever. Yeah, that's not on down there. And then he looks back, and this hat actually maybe shouldn't be going up there. Maybe it's a bit crowded here. You got the two forwards already there, So it's almost like a rotated hex with these 4, but then you'd need the wing over here and the back and back, and this first back is empty. And then it keeps happening over there. So this guy's coming back now, but there's nobody, like there's one guy in line, okay? So this guy should really be like the far wing. And then these 5 players here, you should have 2 forwards, a hat, and 2 backs. I mean, not like strictly, they don't have to always be there. But the fact that they're not, you know, that nobody's near these positions suggests that there's been an over-concentration. And it's the end zone. It's the end zone's getting in your head. You got to forget about the end zone sometimes. Yeah, the end zone causes imbalance. The interesting thing we do with keep disc is offense. We note that offense can just hold the disc really easily in keep disc, but then in a game, then possession becomes much harder, right? And what's changed? You've got an area of the field now, which means if you catch it in there, it's going to be a score. So that should make it harder for the defense. Yeah, the defense have got more to worry about. Yeah, and they can lose the game on a particular pass in a particular area. The offense, all they get is a benefit. You know, the rules are still the same with like passing the disc around, but if they catch it in a particular area, then it's a score. So they should be able to maintain possession easier. Yeah, like the defense should be more on the back foot. But it's a mental thing. Yeah, the just having that end zone means you think about the end zone and you try and throw the disc into the end zone, and then you end up turning over more. So that's kind of what's happening here. All these players are like, oh, maybe I could score. And they're making little moves, you know, being aggressive, going for it, and it means that these spaces here are then unfilled. And if this throw doesn't go, then suddenly, you know, everyone has to rotate back pretty hardcore and has quite a long way to travel. However, the throw goes, and then that validates all the positions again. So now you've got the first back, the second back, the forward, and then one of these guys will come in for the hat. You know, it's almost perfect hex. But that's kind of interesting that it's only because those last 2 throws go. So from here to here puts everyone in a better position, and then from here to here puts everyone in a better position. You know? Whereas if the throw went to this guy here, everyone would be in a pretty good position, but it's going to take more seconds. It's going to take more time for this guy to come back here, and this guy needs to stop pushing up. Does that make sense? Yeah, if you find any of this like interesting, or if it's stuff that you've thought about before, like any of you that are watching, I think there's about 7 people watching. Okay, this is something way that bigger. Oh, can you repaste that chat? I lost that chat because I changed my window. Yeah, repaste the last thing you said, Jonathan, please. Something about striking from the backs. Yeah, this is great. Some new ideas and some things we've already noticed ourselves. Cool. Alright, this is something we talked about. We wanted the backs to strike after throwing forward. But we have come back after watching the game and come up with the same conclusion that we abandoned our back spots quite a lot. I need to stop doing that. Yeah. Yeah, well, striking from the back is fine, so long as your forwards are coming back. Yeah, so I like the idea of this guy like head down, just like ploughing through. But the problem is that too many of these people are like looking to get the disc deep. You know, if you're in a balanced position, then you're happy getting it back and you're happy getting it forward. Like this guy's doing well, but he's having to bust it from a long way away to get back towards those back positions. But it's not bad. Like, it's not bad. Like, this guy's coming back as well. Like, yeah, like those 2 players coming back is crucial, because then now you've got plenty of space to work with over here. You know, and even here, you know, this guy's coming back, this guy's coming back, and then that's why then the shape is validated and you're in good shape. And then yeah, obviously a score, because this is a real nice situation, just having that one forward isolated. Cool. It's good that It's good to hear that you've some things that you've already noticed yourselves and been chatting about. I hope to make a video, like maybe I'll just download this one and chop bits. It should be like a summary one, like people only want to watch videos for like 2 or 3 minutes on YouTube. So but I think a lot of people will be interested to hear that you guys, this is one of the first times where I was like, oh yeah, this is definitely Hex. I think a lot of people will be interested to hear that you guys are running it, because a lot of people want video footage of it and stuff, and see it working. And the fact that it's been run by a team that's pretty much disconnected from me is really cool. What city are you guys from, by the way? Is it Perth? You guys from Perth?
Looks to go around and he just dropped the
Outbreak,
disc
the
there.
name of a city?
Catch there down low. Roden goes quick to Pilar Rogers.
It feels like flow stops a bit with this guy. Like, he's really not into throwing that disc back to Red Hat. He's like a little fake, but he's not really looking. So the defender doesn't ever really have to bite on it. They get in good position. And then the look downfield, you put the disc in one hand. Doesn't feel like you're immediately ready to throw. And if it still gets above 3, that's flow stopped.
Catch there down low. Roden goes quick
1,
to Pilar
2,
Rogers.
3. Yeah.
Around
There's a little stutter. There's a little stutter in the flow there.
Going to reset with the lefty backhand to Pilar Rogers. Looks to be working in the handler.
Oh, that was alright. That kind of kept the rhythm, kept the tempo.
Looks to go around and he just dropped the disc there.
Look at the setup here. The disc is the furthest back when it's on the line, so there should be like 4 players over here. Kino's trying to score. That was the Gak, wasn't it, poaching? But he can poach because the over concentration. Yeah, like if this was the forward and this was the hat, then it's a good move by Gak, sure. But they're a little bit close together potentially. That allows the defense to do something clever. Yeah, so even that's a bit over concentrated, let alone the positioning over here. This guy's got the right idea. Yeah, he's just jumping back. Okay. Yeah, that's the poach from Gak making the throw I have to pull out. We're from Adelaide. Oh, nice. It's good. I might move to Australia at some point. So team playing Hex in Adelaide sounds interesting. My nephew's determined to go to is it James Cook University? Is it to study marine biology? Great Barrier Reef and stuff. And he's 13 now, so 5 years.
Going to find Warren
He'll be
White
off
on
to
the other
uni.
side of the field. Eichner makes the cut across.
This is interesting bit actually. Like the shape is nice here, and then 3 players just kind of all come together, like really tight gap there. But it kind of looks weird. Almost like I don't know. Almost like something there was kind of practiced about. Like especially I look at this player. He's like, yeah, I'm just gonna run just behind this guy. I don't know. Maybe that's a habit. I'm not sure.
It looks like a horizontal set. Tonkin into space to Roden. Roden goes pro backhand to Whiteman. And Ogden catches the disc. Bidding hot chili defender. Eichner, beautiful
That's
forehand
really nice.
into space. Beautiful Hawthorne.
Yeah, that's really nice flow.
Roden goes backhand to Whiteman. And Ogden catches the disc.
Yeah, positioning's all good as well. Like, okay, here's the busting from the back. And I've noticed this actually when I've played in this position. If you pass to this guy, if he makes another pass onto the line, then you, as the new second back, like you can totally just bust it straight to the end zone. Yeah, like because if the flow continues down here, and the shape all rotates round, then really this is the guy that's scoring like that. And if it doesn't, like this is where you need the forwards to come back. So if you bust up here and the flow and the disc doesn't go down here, then you need one of these players to be coming back. So everyone, as soon as the disc is on the side, everyone should be thinking like, right, second back position. That is the position where which is most neglected. So everyone's just aware of that. Like, is anyone near enough to fill it in if that guy wants to go deep? And if not, you've got to reposition. And if people are near enough to fill in, then that guy can just go deep, you know. And then happy times. Off he goes. It's not even him that scores in the end, but like you can see that movement. I think he's like right in the middle of the screen. It's quite cool watching like that. Yeah, he's always in a good dangerous position basically, and his player almost comes in like, ooh, and that would have been a goal. Yeah, even if that's not on, then like the hammer over here is a possibility. So where does the goal scorer come from? Ah, this is the goal scorer. And Ogden catch the disc, being hot chili defender. Beautiful forehand into space. Beautiful forehand into space. How's the like technical aspects? Is this like dragging through it? You can see this little. You can see the window. Yeah, you can see that window down there. Oh, I can't get to that window, but you can see that window all right. And does it help like being able to watch it like forwards and backwards quite a lot? I found that helped me loads when I'm doing like analysis, where you can see where people come from really quickly just by dragging the slider. This is a tough thing for us. Too many people want to come in the hat. We've talked about striking from forwards into the hat spot and out into the backs. Less movement from the wings into the middle. Less movement from the wings into the middle as much. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, I can't remember dealing with kind of overcrowded hat before, but yeah, getting the forwards to strike into hat and out to backs. But then, you know, where do the wings move? I suppose wing going into the hat is kind of can be like a lateral cut. And it all depends on the disposition as well. Like, if it's on the side, then who goes into the hat from there? Yeah, sure, the forwards. What about the far wing? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you can't formulate it all, can you? Then you start to limit yourselves if you give like too many rules of people where they can go and when they can't go. Like, maybe think more about like how to fix that movement through abiding to principles. You know, like maintain that balance of like space distribution. And as a general thing, when the disc is on the side, then people push up too much. You know, get too close towards the end zone. So that's a very general thing. But then it's good to give people like rules of thumb, especially when learning. You know, and then once you've learnt through the rules, then you can actually start to understand like, oh yeah, I can see why the rules work, and then you can go beyond having those rules. So the way that I like to start a point is having the two players at the back give go until the defense stop. So basically his first look would be back to here, okay, and this defender might be doing something good that's stopping it, but these two would just look to pass it between themselves going all the way up, yeah, until the defense stopped them. And then, like, let's say this guy busts up this way and then the defense cover him, then it opens up a big space where that guy was, yeah. So they give go and attack downfield, and as soon as that fake happens, then the other players get kind of initiated. I find it's a good way to start the point. Two at the back and everyone else, you know, setting up their shape over here, and these two kind of working forward, and everyone moving forward as they come forward. This is a good way to kind of get the point going and build a good connection between those two backs. And one of the reasons for that is when you go forward, there's less continuation options. So it's moved forward. If this pass went forward immediately here, then suddenly you've got nobody deep of the disc. and you're only up to the brick mark. Whereas if you kept it at the backs for a while, then when you make that first pass forward, yeah, then you get past some defenders, yeah, and then you've got a second one forward. Whereas if you take that first pass very early to unmarked, then this defender is causing problems basically. Well, yeah, he's stopping the immediate through the middle. This is where the commentator says isolation.
Bounce. He's going to get it to Ogden. He's going to go to Pillar Rogers, who's working in a focus isolation set. Whiten going to look to break the mark. Resets to Tonkin. Whiten with dominator movement. Ogden into space. He's going to get D'd.
Let's have a look. So this is the guy that thinks isolated, and he's kind of keeping Gak out of the way. You see how Gak always wants to poach. This is another weird bit of two people running incredibly close together. I mean, I guess it's just kind of the situation that arises, isn't it? There's kind of a pick. Yeah, and the space is a bit weird. No, I think he's making an alright move there, but yeah, if he's able to attack this space here and the disc just to go here, then I think that would be ideal. Execution. Yeah, all video is good, excellent, and the audio, I'm loud enough and stuff. I know I can mumble sometimes. So yeah, let me know. I got a nice mic, but I don't know whether I've got it set up ideally. What I love about this offense is there are not a lot of rules. There's a lot of natural, organic movement. Yeah, damn right. It's more fun that way. You know, I'm not one to enjoy restriction of my freedom. So just being able to play naturally and organically and do the right stuff at the right times means quite a lot to me. It's how I learned how to play. In Brighton we had we didn't have much structure at all, you know, it was very organic, and I'm not sure I've really ever run a set play with them at all. So yeah, very organic learning through Brighton. And then I went to Clapham and GB, and that's when it was like, you have to do everything this way, you know, this is the only way to do stuff. Got to run this way, you got a cool way where you want people to run before you pick the disc up. I didn't like it. Didn't like it at all. But I think it gave me ideas, like, okay, if we're trying to think more like rigidly, more like defined, then what are the positions where people can cut from that then other people can cut into the space they've created, you know? And it gave me that kind of perspective and that angle on the game. Then it was like a year later, then I kind of like, the hex shape kind of revealed itself to me. That came more directly from watching Spain play soccer. Yeah, so this is surrounding the disc, but making sure you get the disc when you are surrounded it, you know. Like, obviously you have to surround this sometimes, but you gotta try and be sure that you're gonna get the disc. The shape is good. You know, like this is just quite nice. It's quite nice, like flow, separation.
Rogers in a lot of space. Tom Regaki playing some lazy defense out there, playing in the space rather than on the man. Whiten goes into space. It floats again. This time, Og.
So, was it a bit of a space being abandoned? This guy's a bit heads down. He should maybe be aware.
Space rather than on the man.
Yeah. Interesting. Maybe this guy can't attack into the hat position because Gak's in the way just for that fraction of a second.
He's into space. It floats again. This time Ogden comes up with it. He's close to the end zone. Pilar Rogers is going to come up with that one. Regaki, those wide.
Right, how did that approach not get punished?
The Endzone. Pillar Rogers is going to come up with that one.
Yeah, I think something that really helped this player is the power stance. Like facing infield, both hands on the disc, just like ready to throw. Yeah. I think it might help reduce his average time in possession.
Going to come up with that one.
So, okay, this fake should be more like realistic. But those two defenders are there. It should mean that, you know, goal can happen, right? So you got these two guys with this guy Mott. He shouldn't be cutting towards where the other defenders are. Yeah, because Gak, is that Gak? No, this is, I don't know. Anyway, he's able to adjust and actually cover him. Now he's marked up, and the thrower maybe needs to look more dangerously at that guy. Like as soon as you recognise there's an extra poach or there's an extra defender, you've got to try and find that free person and then take the throw. I think he does. I think he looks at him and points. Oh yeah, but he points for him to go to this deep space here. And then the defender moves that way. This guy clears out that way. So I'd say actually at this point don't attack in here. You know, get the disc to the first back and the second back, like, and then score over here. Yeah, because he's got 8 meters separation. So if he's able to go this way, yeah, they might switch again. They might, you know, I mean, this guy's got 6 meters separation, but by the time the disc comes over, he's obviously going to caught that up. They might switch, but it gives, you know, that's the thing to punish, like logically. Yeah, you got the two defenders too far over that side, so the disc should be moved over to this side with an attack happening over here. You got the over concentration of defenders. Maybe.
And nearly getting himself a block there.
That's all right. I'm very cautious in getting the disc in this situation because I don't want to like just look straight back here again. So I tried to like catch and then face over this way immediately, so I'm able to hit this guy if he's free. But yeah, the feet are pointing up this way, so it's not facing infield. Well, I guess his face is facing infield. Just looking at this pick over here. Yeah. Maybe I cut this bit out. Pick.
A little bit, trying to see what happened there, and I mean it was so close.
Yeah, it's interesting how after a stoppage, then everyone then is moving to get back into shape. You know, that movement should be happening during the game, like when the disc is live. Everyone should be moving kind of to maintain the shape. Maintaining the shape is like a constant like workload for the whole team. But it's one of the few things that you have to do to make everything else flow really nicely. So everyone should be looking to maintain the shape. It's always going to come out of shape, like as people move. But it's interesting, after the timeout, then all this movement is to get that shape back. And now it's nice. Yeah, like pretty nice. You got the 3 prongs.
One working underneath here a lot.
Yeah, fakes out his mark. This is just a bit far out front.
I mean, it was so close. Rob Whiten.
Yeah, again, this is where, like, I think logically or ideally, you SoCo. Like if you follow the Hex kind of principles the full way, you don't score in flow, and flow is stopped and you're near the end zone, then go back away from the end zone, so it's easier to initiate flow. Forget about the end zone. But it's a risky tactic, because I've seen a lot of turnovers on those passes going backwards.
Pilar Rogers gives Eichner the nod, and this is a little bit similar to what Tom Regacki does with the disc. He's a handful to mark. You see Sean Davis, strong defender, and
here's where you could pivot inwards rather than outwards. So turning going around this way rather than turning and looking up the line. Basically, if you turn looking infield here, then this one's an option immediately, and you've got 1, 2, 3 that you're going to see. I guarantee you'll have enough time to turn in, see this guy going out the line, and still be able to fake down the line. But by turning out like that, all these players are now inactivated. Well, he's going to be activated soon. He'll be in vision soon. Yeah, and it also encourages the everyone else to think about the end zone too much. If you face up the line like that, everyone else will get crowded over here. But as it is, you've kept your shape very well. And he's looked infield quite early. But he's out of sync. Yeah, flow stopped, and he's broken synchronization with the teammates by detaching. He's detached visually. He's turned his back to like 4 people that are very involved in the game at this point.
Mark, you see Sean Davis, strong
and then it's
defender.
like, what's new over here? And then there's a fake that wasn't on.
Strong defender, and Mike just strong defender.
The fake I think wasn't realistic. So I mean, yeah, it convinced this guy, but he's not the guy you got to worry about. It's you got to get the other defenders committing. You've got to communicate with your offense. And that throw, was that a throw that was like, if he released that, was it going to be like a sidearm into here? But then.
Defender, and Mike just
yeah, okay, maybe pivot slower and put more energy into it, because this defender is looking at the disc here. Yeah, he should look at the disc and then like get super scared and have to bite, but instead he just kind of continues like that, and then pivot infield after that.
Mike just got away from him there. Awareness of where
and
on the field he needed to get to.
People aren't really kind of ready to give an option.
It's going to go back to Andy Baddocks on the sideline. Baddocks will break, go to the middle of the field. Davis hits the under, and the commentary box.
There's another poach coming in there, wasn't there?
Baddocks will break, go to the middle of the field. Davis.
Yeah. Big distances here are now involved. The offense has been going on for a little while. This guy's gone off. Yeah, when the disc's on the side, it's good to have these first and second backs, but it does mean that if the disc then goes backwards and around, then these players, they need to have not gone to try and score, because when it does go back, at this point you've got these 3 players pretty much who are going to from left to right, whereas you should have the hat here and the wing here and the 2 backs. I mean, they don't have to be there, but you need to be trying to maintain the shape by moving towards those positions. So boom, they all go. And now this guy is quite isolated. This is a long throw. That's where the errors creep in. This is quite a long throw over here. Can't, even that's a long throw, to get a little give go going on. And yeah, with the long throw, then obviously weird shit happens. Trips over. There's a poach in there. He has to adjust because of the poach. In fact, he's slowing down. If you watch him, he's slowing down because he sees the poach. And then he has to change direction. Yeah. So yeah, it was because of the disconnection. Players got disconnected. Too much movement going forward. I wondered about. Yeah, there's some weird statistic you can maybe that I thought is possible, where you chart the speed at which people cut forwards compared to the speed at which they cut backwards. Usually people are jogging backwards into reset positions, into the back positions, but then they're running forwards, really fast. And actually, if you're playing fully balanced, then you should be going back and forth maybe the same amount. I'm gonna go through up until like half time, which is when I think I started. But yeah, thanks for watching, Jonathan. Well, maybe check it out tomorrow. I think we've still got we've got like 8 people watching, or 7 people plus me. Keeping the shape. There's a lot of recurring things with, like, this, basically the second back not being filled in. That's always a recurring thing, and this is where it becomes a thing, because there should be an option here. At this point, yeah, you've got first back should be second back here, and then he goes into that position. This guy maybe is abandoning his wing. There you go, first back, second back. That's the sweet movement. That's nice, like, continuation dump type stuff that you don't often get when the second back is abandoned. Yeah, but when the second back's actually there, now it's boom boom, and then it's to the next level. It's like, oh, now the wing's abandoned. So if this guy's thinking about maintaining the shape constantly, then probably at this point he's like, oh, okay, this is definitely like a shape area, so he should be moving towards it. He sets up a cut for it. He sets up a cut. Now this is too long. This is not a comfortable distance of pass. I don't know whether he's trying to this guy or this guy. Okay, it works out. Pivoting outwards here. I think if he pivoted inwards, he'd get connection with this guy much quicker, and he'd keep this guy, active. Pivoting outwards, bit of disconnection, but then, this guy here has managed to time his deep cut really well.
Rodin goes long. It's a flat throw. Nice bit.
This is great. Felix loving it so far. Cool, great to hear, Sean. Right, this is the narrow channel situation again. So if he's going to get the disc, if he's going to cut that, he needs to be sure he's getting the disc, because otherwise, yeah, he's going to be surrounding the disc, which he pretty much is now with this player here. Yeah. Oh. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think the whole shape here needs to be rotated. This setup, like, this guy needs to actually be like over here. The forward is a bit crowded to the sideline. It's a bit uncomfortable having the forward right on that sideline. So he needs to be able to come across. He should say push to the hat. The hat should be like over here, probably. It's narrow channel again. So as soon as that disc's in the air and he's catching it here, this is the space to avoid next to him. But he cuts through it, and that surrounds the disc. This guy's even tempted to go for it as well. Maybe he's expecting a pass though. Yeah, so then that's pretty unpleasant for the thrower there when you're in that situation. I think there's something else I can actually do to make. Here we go. I can change this to full. It's a bit more jerky, but it's high resolution. Yeah, this is really unpleasant. Like, ooh, where do these defenders come from? Yeah, this guy's in here because it's a bit crowded. This guy's in a weird space as well. So his defender's just causing trouble. But he managed to get the disc through. Narrow channel again. This guy's going down this narrow channel here. It'd be really cool if it came over this way. And then there's a huge amount of space here, obviously. What is that? Yeah, you see the motion of players is all very much down this way, yeah, towards that front corner. There, those 3 players at the moment. You got 4 players running deep at the moment, or moving deep. Whereas what the ideal position for people here is like hat, wing, first back, second back, forward, and second forward. So in fact, all these 4 players could easily be like 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, in this space over here. Forget about the end zone. You know, it's like you get near the end zone, you see it, and you want to go there, but it disrupts the shape. Needs a second back here. That's why if this guy got the disc back here, then he'd be able to bounce off the second back, or if he doesn't get it, disc can go to the second back. Yeah, that's why he's waiting. Now flow, flow gets stopped. Whenever flow stops, whenever it still gets to 3, then you should look back at what happened and be like, right, what was the cause of that? How did flow stop? You know, was it something amazing the defense did, or was it an error that the offense made? And here, I believe the root of it is not having that second back. You know, he's got limited options. Yeah, that undercut's not quite on, but this guy's in you know, hex space, whereas then you got spaces over here. Yeah, at this point, this guy needs to stay back. This guy should be coming back as well. Yeah, so it just does go there, but it's like it takes time. It's actually that wing. It's actually that wing player hit there. So yeah, it's this guy. This guy here is the one that actually goes to the second back in the end, and he's very far away from it. There he goes. Okay, flow stopped. What happens?
There's a foul.
Disconnection. Yeah, like this guy's miles away.
Foul call, but it's going to continue.
Yeah, he should be busting. They should all be busting a gut to get the shape back at this point.
Great defensive play there from Baker.
Yeah, like limited options. This throw is a bit long for comfort, and he's only got one other guy that he's connected to. Who is being marked by
got a big piece of it, but Baddix with some good throws there.
That's good. That's good reaction. I like that. Yeah, that's
good
smart.
throws there, getting it off. Alexander looks to have shaken off the sniper shot.
And that's quite good getting back into shape. Maybe he should move more at the moment to go deep. Yeah, these backs split. He comes round. He goes around that side. Arguably, this is a narrow channel, and that he should actually stay connected to him, and they should move around that way together. I'm not 100%. Yeah, look, it's not nice having a guy that close, and there's more players needed over here. So I think he should have gone around that way. And then I don't know where he would have ended up if he had. Yeah, he'd be like here now. So he can maybe work it on the other side. Okay, is this going to be another time where we get near to the end zone?
In the middle of the field goes pro backhand again by Baddix. Middleton now gets the mark on his knees. Lace fakes the underthrow, goes around to Schrader. A little bit of a miscommunication there, but
so there's plenty of time here after this play stops here. So
Lace
boom there, right? He does a nice big fake, but then everyone kind of stands still for a second. These two guys need to get around here. You know, they need to get out of there. The disc is quite near the sideline, so the back should actually be behind. The hat should be only slightly in front. Yeah, there needs to be more urgency of repositioning. Yeah, this guy should not be chill at this point.
Gets the mark
should not
on
be
his
chill.
knees.
He's got to move.
Lace fakes the underthrow, goes around to Schrader. Little bit of a miscommunication there.
Yeah, he's too hungry. He's too hungry to score. You know, this isn't a scoring cut.
He fakes the underthrow, goes around to Schrader.
Maybe running out of
Little
legs.
bit of a miscommunication there between Baker.
That's a bit of a foul as well.
Underthrow goes around to Schrader. Little bit of a miscommunication there between
yeah, like it's too big a distance. We need to get
Baker
connected,
and Junker.
get the shape sorted. And there's that poach again from the GAC. Because everyone's so spread out, like there's no prongs. But it's towards the end, so it's towards the end of a point. So it's sustainable offense. Being able to pass the disc around without tiring yourselves out.
Baker and Junker
will mean that you're able to just maintain the shape whilst maintaining possession as well. The pick happens down here. And it is a pick, I believe. Yeah, it's weird. He kind of waits until that guy's running there and just runs straight behind him. Classic pick. I see the viewer counts going up and down, so hello those guys that are joining now. Okay.
It's going to reset back to his fellow Sean. Reset back to his fellow Sean of the lace.
Bit of an execution error.
Davis is going to reset back to his fellow Sean of the lace variety.
Yeah,
that throw is not going to be any
throw.
good, but Alexander with the awareness, he points.
Hit this guy. Yeah, nice.
He goes through the mark. Physical throwing.
Get out of this guy's in the narrow channel. Like this is a real bad spot. Real bad place to be.
His fellow Sean of the lace variety. That throw is not going to be any good, but Alexander with the awareness, he points.
You should There's another situation where you can turn inwards. Yeah. If his aim is to go, even if he wants to look this way, 180 degrees. You got the choice of either turning around this way and seeing all your players and then looking that way, or turning around the outside where all you can see is the sideline. I mean, it obviously doesn't take long, but just having the back of the head pointed over here. I mean, this guy's free, yeah. Like, if he just stayed looking at this guy, that's definitely an open pass. You know, so I don't want to berate this guy because it's like. It's kind of drilled into us. It's like we've been doing this so long, playing vertical stack and conventional ultimate. You catch it and then you turn and look at the end zone. But if you look at the logic of it, you know, like throw it to this guy. What's the logic behind actually turning there? You know, yeah, maybe you can score in one pass from there, but more likely to score if this guy gets the disc. Like that's going to be a more reliable, higher percentage. Chances are that this guy's going to be marked out, you know, but this guy you know is free, so take that. And all his focus here on this bit of the end zone is what gets the attention of the defender. So it gets them committing over there, and as soon as that's got okay, yeah, you know, so you benefited from focusing on the end zone a little bit there because you got a poach. But then you got to be able to punish that. You got to be able to cash in on that immediately.
With the awareness, he points.
Yeah, he does. He does throw to the guy. He does throw to the guy.
With the awareness, he points.
There is a little delay.
He goes through.
It's a nice release. Gets
through the
him.
mark.
And then then this guy's in a terrible position.
He goes through the mark.
You want everyone to be on this side of the disc at this point. Like he should be over here. But obviously everyone would push around.
Physical throwing presence there from Alexander. Davis now, he's going to break the mark, but it pops up in the air. It's going to be a contest in the end zone. The GAC is in there. It bounces.
I feel for 40 so much here. If he just carried on. Because as soon as he makes the throw, he's like, oh, I've got to go try and write this.
Davis now, he's going to break the mark, but it pops up in the air. It's going to be a contest in the end zone. The GAC is in there. It bounces. Thinking, hey, I've got a player who can throw this disc 100 metres on his day. So Lace is going to go reset the Outbreak offense. Alexander now to Tran, one-handed behind him. Tran goes long to Sweet As. 100 metres. So let's go to reset the outbreak of it. Alexander now to Tran, hand behind him. Tran goes long.
Yeah, it's just an execution error. Like, the shape's fine, the position's fine, everything. The decision's fine, I think. Well, that's gack, isn't it? But still. You know, if you just get it flattened out to the end zone, that's all good. Let's have a look at the throwing mechanics.
To Tran, one-handed behind him.
Yeah. Like, legs are very wide there already. And then going out wider, those angles and stuff. I don't know, is there a balance? Is there a balance issue? This comes out wobbly. Is that because the knee is in the way? Maybe actually, like, maybe having your legs a bit wide here means that you're not able to step to exactly where you want to. Because really, if you're throwing towards the end zone here, you should be stepping out to here. Yeah, that's the perpendicular point. Depends what throwing technique you've practiced, but yeah, I practice going from power position, then stepping out perpendicular to where I want the throw to end up. So maybe because he was already quite wide-legged, he wasn't able to step back over this way.
One-handed behind him. Tran goes long to Sweet As. Many years ago, probably of America even before that.
I shouldn't have stopped for crumbs.
Rodin. Right now, there's a bit of a junk look from.
Let's have a look.
Right now, there's a junk from Hot Chili. What a throw from White. Not known for his throws, but his abilities have clearly improved through the cup. Ogden combining
that's
with
around the
Rodin.
disc, but that's
Yeah,
no, against zone. Maybe you should surround the disc.
Experienced handler, very long for a handler as well.
And now they go to man.
Close to 6 foot.
There we go. Oh.
And if not 6
Ooh.
foot, well.
Oh. There we go.
Just needs
Yeah, it looks nice. You guys are in control at this point. Like, you've got plenty of options. You have your moments of flow. You've got plenty of threats going on as well. Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. It's nice. I think the commentators talk about Hex here.
It looks like they're going to set in their W horizontal set.
W horizontal. It's funny how people all have their kind of understanding of Ultimate. You know, the perspective from, and everything is from horizontal or vertical stack. You know, it's like, oh, it's a stack on the side, a stack here, a stack there. It's like dump space, open side, break side stuff. It's all like the understanding of Ultimate comes from that. So when they see literally the hexagon shape, they don't see the shape. They see two handlers and a W of cutters from, you know, who are horizontal because they're not in a vertical line. So it's interesting how the kind of mental, or the way people view it is dependent upon all the stuff that's happened in the past. You know, all the previous strategies.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to set
yeah,
their W
as you'd expect.
Set.
But he says something about like he's read a book, and that's how he knows W horizontal set. I don't know whether he just misremembered reading my website or whatever, or misunderstood something in a book. I don't know. Or maybe it isn't a book. That'd be cool if anyone knows the book which has got Hex in it.
It's a weird, it's a niche offense
W
that I have
horizontal.
not seen very often at all. I only know about it because I read a Frisbee book. And I've never actually seen anyone run it. Newcastle used to run a U horizontal set. I believe there's a few other teams that tried it as well, but none that have run out of a W. Schrader now near sideline. Chile doing a good job stuffing the receivers. Baddix is going to take foul. Yeah, the defender just flattered into him. A little bit unfortunate. It happens sometimes.
Bit crowded downfield then.
Davis with the Frisbee. Looking. They're struggling to generate any kind of width. They're just stuffing it down this near sideline.
Yeah.
Andy Baddox with the frisbee, going to go
It's
to
a bit,
Sean
it's a
Davis,
bit
who
stop
goes
start,
low
but
to
like,
secure that.
but the separation and stuff is generally good, from what I can see.
My hands
And like
knowledge is
previous
correct.
points as well, you know, it's just flowing really, really nicely. It's been really nice to watch
Baddox
actually.
will
Like,
receive the disc.
got to make sure that I kind of
The,
make sure that you guys know that it's, you
I
know,
believe
you're
that
playing
we
it
should
well,
stay with the
and
swing, though, as the pick wouldn't have had any
and
impact
when I'm
on,
watching,
that part
you
of
know,
the play.
when I'm watching you guys in flow, it's just like, oh yeah, yeah, this looks nice, this looks nice. But when I watch a lot of other Ultimate, you know, it's like, oh, you know, what's going on? Why they're doing that? Oh, that shouldn't be happening. Like, there's a bit surrounding the disc a little bit there for you. Yeah, but it's a tricky situation when you're this close to the end zone, you know. But yeah, surrounding the disc means that this guy can poach in. If you get the disc, then you're a bit further back and you're more disconnected from these players over here. There's big disconnection kind of going on here.
Very nicely to Greg Schrader. Eichner now.
But yeah, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure watching you guys play.
Dominator movement. Eichner leading the offense. A young receiver. He's showing that he's got some talent here. Andy Baddock's been a rock thus far. Seen none of those. In the offense. He's got some talent here. Andy Baddock's been a rock thus far.
Yeah, I feel like it's focused incredibly intensely, basically. Like this, his attempt to throw this dump as well. Like he half pivots over, but in reality, he should be able to step over here and make that pass. Okay, and if he can't, then you know he's got to make the call. I mean, there's obviously about 4 marking violations going on there. But when he makes that call, when the guy steps back, you got to take that advantage. Yeah, this is the separation here. These guys are all marked. And then you're very much weighted. Yeah, you've weighted your options heavily towards the sidearm into here, basically. Whereas if you face up to the mark in the power stance, literally with your feet just facing the mark, then they're not able to exert this kind of pressure on you and like force you into like sidearm throw. And you keep your options open. God, was he going to throw that and he just held onto it at the end? I think so. Yeah. That's why he travels. Also, the guy's straddling you really nasty. I don't know that. Yeah, so yeah, I'd say get into power stance and be looking around at all these options. I mean, this guy's in loads of space as well, but from this position, very unlikely. Whereas if you're stood with both hands on the disc facing the force, then that's just a quick hammer over the top.
None of those throwaways are bidding low.
Yeah, let's see. Do I think this was up?
Great bid from both players. He might have got that.
I mean, it looks like it goes into his left hand. He's gonna hit it with both hands here. Is that his wrist? Maybe it's not in his hand, maybe that's his wrist. It's possible it's touching the floor there, but maybe his fingers are underneath it in his left hand. But then he gets knocked again by his body. Yeah. When it gets knocked there, does any part of it touch the grass? Because I don't think that's under control at that point. You haven't clamped it yet.
He might have got that. It looks like it's bounced around in there.
And then that's when it's rolling across you. It comes up in his left. But I don't think his left holds onto it the whole time.
It looks like it's bounced around in there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Whether or not it's touched the ground. And to Andy Baddox. Well, that's an extra throw. It should have gone back to Sean Davis.
Let me know if you guys are enjoying the stream. Like if I went through other games in a similar kind of style, would it be something that you as Ultimate players would be interested in watching?
Nice play there.
You know, this kind of like approach. It's like casual live streaming analysis. Yeah, so it's like perfect shape. Or actually, it could be rotated a little bit. This guy's being a little bit cramped by the sideline, and this guy's got loads of space over here, so you could rotate around that way. That's the timed cut, and then look, perfect shape again. Look at that. That's real nice.
maybe there was a pick called straight.
I'm still like undecided about how easy it is to score from Hex when you get near to the end zone. You know, it could get difficult. It's like crowded. I mean, this is like one-on-one over here in this huge space. So that's quite a good bet. You can see this guy's really worried about that, but he's also worried about the hammer over here, right? And maybe this guy is then trying to stop that. When they have that like poaching chain reaction, then that's when you can punish with the throwing to the backs. Cram it in the cram hole. He's making a good move for like if you're cutting from vertical or horizontal, but by slowly pushing up from back to hat, it's actually making it more compressed in the end zone. But he's creating more space for himself. Oh, it's unfortunate when he turns his shoulders here, then the other guy isn't ready to throw. And this comes down to power stance again. So if he had the disc not here, where his quickest release is to throw a knife over here, if he had the disc both hands in front of him, where he can like release a backhand on either side, with either hand, for example, if he was ready like that, then as soon as this guy makes his move, then he'd be able to just pop a backhand out over here. But instead, he has to pivot back, because he's in this unbalanced pivoting position, i.e. he's facing over here rather than facing the center of the space. He has to pivot a bit, and then he's looking, and the force adjusts, and then he's not able to get the throw off over here, even though this guy is free. Like, as soon as he turns his shoulders, boom, that should be it. That should be like, right, pivot out and throw. But he has to try and like shimmy around a little bit to try and get into space. Interesting, this guy gets free, right? I mean, really, he should be faking here. He should be, this should not be up here. The knife isn't, maybe, is he getting this guy scared? Is he getting that guy scared? No, it's just his habit. It's just his habit. He should be faking at this guy, get this defender to lay out here, and then score over here. Now he's facing infield, and he should be keeping an eye on this guy and an eye on the dump. And he is. Yeah, the facing infield worked, and then pivots out, and nobody knows whether that's going to go like towards this guy or that guy. And even though the disc comes out real wobbly, like, it's a goal. Yeah, I mean, think about where that disc could have been thrown over here. You know, there's a lot of places that disc could have been gone. Is that a goal? I don't know. But there's a lot of places that disc could have been thrown. And he can see him out of the corner of his eye here. So this is the facing infield. Can be really, really beneficial. He should be able to he should be in that neutral stance, able to throw to this guy earlier on.
It was a pick called Schrader trying to cram it in the cram hole here. Brett Middleton. Nice play there from Larson. And I mean,
yeah, it's good. Game analysis is something that's difficult, and it's helping. Cool, good to hear. Good to hear.
And
it's a bit of downtime there.
He's got that between his legs.
Did I look at this? I can't see anything. I'll just keep going.
And we have Outbreak on O. Gonna work out of that horizontal. Schrader elevates, catches.
Difficult, really difficult for 40 here.
We have Outbreak on O. Gonna work out of that horizontal.
Boom, he's caught it. Alright, and he's set. So now what do you do as 40? You don't really want to go up here because this is like the narrow channel. This guy's probably cutting here. But then there's no space to go over here because this guy's here. So I would communicate with this guy. I'd say push, and then I'd cut over that way with urgency.
Schrader elevate.
And this guy's pushing off a bit, but he kind of moves that way.
Catches.
Now his guy's on him. If this guy turns around now wanting to throw to one of these players, then these defenders are going to be trouble. That's why surrounding the disc is a bad thing. The defenders become quite formidable in that situation.
Catches.
What's this defender doing here, number 5?
Catches.
He's gone over there, mate. He totally loses track of him. That's great. Great D. He's facing the wrong way. Maybe he's scared of this guy, isolated, you know?
Foley catches the break, goes.
Nice, okay, where did he come from? Comes from over here, I think.
Catches. Foley catches the break, goes.
Yeah, there's another benefit of Hex that I've noticed is that you get players who do this, yeah, and this guy's doing it, yeah. They're looking around, yeah. They're all looking at the disc, but they're looking around trying to figure out where they can maybe poach, what they can do, how they need to position against their man, and by having to think about all that stuff, just a momentary lapse in concentration or getting your body positioning slightly wrong.
Foley.
Not recognizing that this is now an incredibly dangerous space.
Catches the break,
just
goes
able to beat him there.
Open side.
When we played against Clapham, they were looking to poach and switch at the very beginning, and we ended up just scoring like 6 in a row. They threw zone a couple of times as well. This is like the first time we played Hex as a team at a big tournament. Yeah, and we ended up scoring 6 in a row. I say in a row. We put in 6 of our offense, and they put in 6 of their offense. So it was like 6 all. And then they said to each other, right, we can't do switching or poaching or anything against this because that's what's messing us up. So we just got marked tight 1-1, and they marked tight 1-1, and they're all like way fitter than we were. So they ended up winning 15-12, I think. So not too bad. Just 3 breaks or whatever. Yeah, this is when I realised that you guys are playing Hex, like 100%. So that's I don't know, how do you guys train getting into the shape? Something we realised in this point earlier was that we moved between the hat, back and near wing too much, not allowing the other wings and forwards to get in. We scored when we finally got the other wing into it slashing across. Okay. So we moved between the hat, back and near wing too much. Okay. So let's have a look at it again then. So the hat, back and the near wing. So these guys over here basically. That's for this whole point. God, it's a long offense, isn't it? Okay, 6-5, 6-5. We'll go for 6-5. Okay, here we go. Okay, now the disc over on this side. It goes up to this wing here. Still on this side. Got the wing, got the back, second back. That's nice movement. Yeah, like this guy right now. He's making the right move, yeah, and he sees that goes over there and it goes over there. Well, I suppose that's very similar to what you do in a vertical stack. So he's one of the few times that what you've learned conventionally actually ties in with good hex movement too. But yeah, there is a lot of movement here between the wing and the backs and the hat on this side. It goes across a bit there. Oh yeah, that's the one that I wasn't sure was up or down. Yeah, you could work it over to the other side, especially because the other side's the break side, right? Yeah, the other side's the break side. So if you work hard to actually, instead of attacking here, if you attack over here, yeah, which should be easier, then you can work hard, get the disc all the way over there, and then you've got the short break throw for the score, or you flow on the open side, and then you can flow all the way into this corner, hopefully. At the moment, the break throw is a long one, yeah, difficult. And then if you want to flow, then you're flowing in this small space here. Yeah, so a huge benefit to actually getting the disc over to the break side when you're outside the end zone. It could be a good That could be a good tactic, you know. If flow stops when you get to the end zone, move the disc to the break side, yeah, and then attack from there. And then if you can't attack from there, then SoCo, go back to your brick mark. That could be an interesting approach. Okay, and then this is from the. Yeah, this is this wing over here that scores. As you say, activating the other side. Yeah, he's the wing there. This goes into the middle. Yeah, and he makes his move across. Also valuable, this guy coming out of that space as well. Like, don't underestimate that. Like, if you're forward here, it can be very tempting now to be like, yeah, now's my chance. I can make the score happen. And he does try, but then he's like, okay, I'm not in a great position now, and then he'll start moving then across and out. Yeah, that movement going over there is so valuable because that creates the space. Yeah, it's quite tempting for him to go back and start cutting, maybe go for like a long one over here or something. But yeah, does the selfless team thing to just clear the space. Just move over to the other forward position. Good stuff. My stream still says that I'm playing Fortnite. Nice shape. It's the middle across. Now disconnected and overcrowded downfield. So when did that start? Disc goes to the side. When the disc goes to the side, movement needs to, like, the hex needs to rotate backwards. Yeah, because when it's on the side, it should be like here. Whereas conventionally, it goes down the side, and then the vert stack has to move up, and all the cuts start happening down here. So it's probably that we've learned from vert stack and horizontal and stuff that the disc moves up the side. We need to move downfield, but actually, in hex that means that if the disc stops, then everyone's in wrong positions. If the disc continued, then brilliant, that would validate everyone's positions. But because it stops, then suddenly you have to fight hard to get back into these positions, into the hex positions. So there should be like a hat and a wing and two backs here, but everyone's down over here. And that means when the disc goes, then they're disconnected. Yeah, he's only got one connection here, and then you got these three guys here. He needs a couple more here to maximise his options. You know. Oh, that was nice. Very nice throw. This guy's coming back into space, but I don't like the way he kind of gets his head down as he changes direction. You know, like, it looks like he's clearing out, but there is no clearing out in Hex. Like, I would look at the disc here and be like, okay, we need to have a back, a second back, a hat, and a wing. But he's just where is he going? Where's he going? Going to a forward? Yeah, maybe he's probably called a forward on the line, right? But he's got to get comfortable with being in this back position, yeah? Like, if these two guys want to bust to the end zone, he should be a dump. He should go back into the first back. But that doesn't seem to be in his mind at all. I guess it ties together with, you know, whether everyone learns how to play every role, like total football style. And if everyone does learn how to play every role, then that means you can move around in the most logical, rational, efficient way to maintain your shape the whole time. Because everyone can be in any position. Okay, got the triangle. Boom, he's a little bit close. I think the disc should go straight to this guy. Yeah, he should hit that pass. He should take that open pass there. We learned the shape through the Hex Puzzle Drill. Yeah, nice. I found with the Hex Puzzle Drill you have the cones out there, right? This is also how I taught the shape at a training I ran last week with the uni team. You have the cones out in the hex shape, and so yeah, the idea is that from moving in that shape and having the cones as a guideline, then it kind of cements in your mind the kind of shape. But then I want to maybe start taking the cones out of the drill. You know, maybe take 3 cones out from the sides. So then people have to just maintain the shape using their heads rather than referring to the cone on the ground, because there's no cone on the ground in the game, right? Did you have any way of transitioning from Hex Puzzle Drill to then actually doing it in the game? Another thing I do is I blow the whistle to stop the game. So you're playing, they're playing, blow the whistle, and then that means they have to then get into perfect shape. Yeah. So if they're really miles out of shape, then it takes them longer. But if they're doing pretty well, then it will only be a few steps, and then they're in shape again. And then I blow the whistle to start again, and that basically keeps the shape in people's minds. You know, they're anticipating the whistle blow, they're anticipating where they need to go to maintain the shape, and then just because there is no whistle in a game, then they're still going to be maintaining shape. That's the theory. Yeah, if he passed to him, then that defender would be nowhere. But as it is, that defender affects what happens here, because this guy has to bend his cut around. And then the throw is just a bit low. Okay, this might be the last point. This might be the last point I go through, I think, because I think I started around here. So, yeah, let me know any feedback or anything. Glad to hear that you guys love playing it. Okay, feels like this guy should fake more realistically. Yeah, so by faking you validate people's moves. Yeah. So there's a move happening from this guy here. I don't know why he pulls out and goes break side. Like it looks like he should just be able to carry on. Well, I don't know. This guy is closing quite well, but he needs to be faked at. Yeah, because it will like maybe not. Yeah, maybe like after he makes that move there, then that should be a fake. But it goes into one hand. That's very, very far away from making a throw. Whereas if he actively tries to get the disc to him, oh yeah, he's kind of in sync. So he pivots out this way and he wants to make that throw, but then the guy changes direction, so then he pivots back over, but then this guy changes direction again. So a bit of miscommunication. But at this point, instead of gesticulating, he should probably be faking, because then that'll get this defender biting in. And it'll also get him in sync with his other teammates. So the other teammates are watching what's going on. They need to know, I'm not going to make this pass, so that then they can do something immediately. And he gets back into kind of a ready position to throw, which is good. But yeah, this guy's movements have been to no avail. Partly because it didn't get faked at, so the defender didn't have to commit at any point. Yeah, so there's more movement happening, and he winds up here. But again, maybe like fake. If he's looking at this, maybe fake properly at it and get this defender fully biting on it. But then he finds a small bit of separation here, just from like straight cut.
Not really much down the field. He's going to have to move the frisbee. Warren White's going to catch a 3-meter gainer. Whiten gets separation up the line. Looks off the receiver. He's going to look low. He's going to look for Warren White now on the reset. Warren White, that rangy.
So flow stopped again. Let's see, why did flow stop?
3-meter gainer. Whiten gets separation up the line.
And he's marked out. Like he's bending away. So if he threw that, it'd be an out D, I'm sure. But fake it. Yeah, fake it, and then that talks to this person, and it gets that guy committing. And he pivots. So if you're gonna put the energy into pivot. Okay, there we go. And now that's got the attention of this guy. But it's already been 3 seconds.
Whiten gets separation up the line. looks off
Yeah,
the
it's just a
receiver.
bit delayed.
He's going to look low.
And then fouled on the mark. Turns around the outside. I normally always try and turn facing this way, not turn my back to the field. But obviously you're fouled, so.
He's going to look for Warren White now on the He's going to look low.
And the shape here, you need a second back, and that needs to rotate so the hat's a bit further in. But it works. You know, and if he wasn't on, then you got this one.
White now on the reset. Warren White, that rangy stride gets him up the line. Ogden
Yeah,
into
that's
space.
nice. That's really nice. That's really nice.
Gonna look for Warren White now on the reset. Warren White.
Yeah, just taking what they give you.
Gets him up the line.
And like that length, those lengths of passes are really nice as well. Yeah, that's one of the indications that you've had pretty good shape downfield, is if your passes are like in rhythm. Yeah, you've got a rhythm to your passes, and also the distance is kind of like the same and not too long, not too short. It's just like doosh doosh doosh. So yeah, that was really nice. Right, I'm gonna eat now. Good fun going through it. Thanks to Mike Palmer and everyone and Jonathan and stuff for starting the chat. And thanks for being my guinea pigs with the testing the stream out. I think it's quite a good format. So maybe I'll do more of these things. If you have any footage you want me to look at, or you know you think would be interesting to have my analysis on, then send me a link and I'll see what I can do. Until next time, I'll see you later.